Should the Miami Heat be concerned about Nikola Jovic and the injury he sustained this summer? Welcome to the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff, and I don't really think it's that big of a concern, but I do want to touch on it because when you watch Jovic play for Team Serbia at the Olympics just a couple weeks ago, he didn't quite look like himself, and I did want to discuss if this could be an issue lingering in to training camp in the regular season. But first, make sure you are following me over on Twitter. At Nick_Rohloff is my handle. I'm tweeting about the Miami Heat every single day, so come join me. I like to interact with a lot of Heat fans, and I tweet highlights, news, rumors. We have it all, so if you want to stay up to date on Miami, make sure you do follow me over on Twitter. All right, if you're coming into the show and being like, well, I didn't even know Nikola Jovic had an injury. Well, we have talked about it in the past, but he's been banged up over the past month and a half, 2 months or so with an ankle injury. Some people thought it was a fractured ankle. Evidently, that was not the case. It was more of an ankle sprain. But either way, when we watched Jovic play in Paris for Team Serbia, as they ended up taking home the bronze, he was very limited in the action that he saw on the court. And then when he actually did play, to me, he didn't look like the same Nikola Jovic that we saw in the NBA and came to love. And the minutes he got were very limited. I don't know if it was because of injury or if it was because of other surrounding factors. But either way, like when I'm thinking of Team Serbia, sure, they got some shooters, they got some dogs, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Nikola Jokic. Like I expected Jovic and Jokic to do a lot of work together in unison as well as working in Bogdan Bogdanovic. But that wasn't the case. Jovic only appeared in 5 games, only played 11 and a half minutes a contest, which is only about 25% of the game, a little bit higher. They do play 40 minutes a game. And you see his numbers, like they weren't great, right? He shot below average from what he normally does at the NBA level, and he didn't really put up any stats. Like I said this a couple times already, but when you watch Jovic, and you don't even look at the stat sheet, you just look at the way he moved on the basketball court. To me, he just didn't look like himself. And I'm not coming up here to try to say that he's some explosive athlete that can beat you with his vertical leaping ability and first step. But to me, he just didn't look like he had the legs under him, if you will. There was some times where he airballed some three-point shots off the catch, which was odd to me because the FIBA three-point shot is actually closer to the rim than the NBA level. So it just, to me, all felt odd, which is why I actually wanted to bring it up on today's show, because we are a month, basically 5-6 weeks away till October 1st, which is the first day of Heat training camp. And I want to make sure Jovic is perfectly fine, and I want to talk about why it's important that Jovic is fully healthy for this Miami Heat basketball team. But after hearing what I had to say about his injury and his statistics at the Olympics, are you concerned about Nikola Jovic and that potential injury? Don't lie. Tell me the truth. If you think I'm just kind of making something out of nothing here and overreacting, that's fine. Type your N's. But if you're with me and are a little bit concerned, type your Y's. Now, Ira Winderman of the Sun Sentinel, who covers the Miami Heat very well, had this to say on Jovic. The additional time off to get his foot and ankle right certainly doesn't hurt. There will have been at least 6 weeks between the end of the Olympics and the opening of camp to sort out his health. At the moment, there is no indication he won't be ready. And that's not the first time we have heard that there is no concern about Jovic's ability to be ready for the start of training camp for Miami. I've seen 5 Reasons Sports Network talk about it, and other reporters as well say that there is no concern. Jovic should and is expected to be ready to go for Heat training camp in October, which is absolutely terrific because the Heat do absolutely need him and his skill set this upcoming season if they want to make a run in the Eastern Conference and really compete deep into a playoff run, because Jovic entering year 3 is only continuing to get better. He provides size, he provides shooting, he provides playmaking, rebounding that is desperately needed on this Heat team, and I am excited to see his 3rd-year jump in development after basically being a redshirt in year 1, playing only half the games in year 2, and then you expect him to play in almost every game as long as he's healthy for his 3rd season. I got expectations and why he is so vital to the team coming up in just a second. But we are sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform and app in North America. And you can play it right now with a first deposit match up to $100 when you use code CLNS. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can win up to 100 times your money right now. Yes, you heard that correctly. Turn 10 into 1,000 using your sports knowledge. You can do season-long projections. You can do daily projections across all sports leagues: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, golf, fighting, esports. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to tailor your daily fantasy sports to, you can, which is why I love Prize Picks. I like to do season-long projections, so I am invested throughout the entire season of basketball. More than Bam Adebayo, 9.9 rebounds, got to take my boy. More than Jalen Brunson, 6-point assists game. I think that he's going to dish it a lot this year to Mikal Bridges, OG, Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and the crew. And the #1 pick in the draft, Zachary Risachet, 10.2 points per game. I'll take the less. I'm not that high on the Frenchman. I don't think he's polished enough that I give you double digits a game this upcoming season. This is a 3-player entry to win 5 times my money, but you can win up to 100 times your money, like I mentioned. So get started today with Prize Picks. Download the app. Use code CLNS to get a first deposit match up to $100. Or you can just click on that link in the description and comments of today's video, prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, we talked about the development of Nikola Jovic, and it's pretty evident to me that we should see bigger numbers than these this upcoming year, right? And the numbers that we should actually be focusing on are the ones up top in terms of his games played and minutes per game. Because Jovic started the year bouncing up and down from the G League and the Heat's regular team, and really wasn't able to find consistent playing time for Miami until Jimmy Butler and company visited Sioux Falls, watched him play, and then it almost felt like Jimmy Butler told Eric Spoelstra in the front office, yeah, man, we need Jovic on the real squad because he can really bring a lot of cool things that we don't have on this team. And for someone who's 6'10", 6'11", shooting 40% from the field, like I would like to, or 40% from three, excuse me, I would like to see these numbers take a little bit of a jump. Now, is he going to shoot better than 40% from three this year? That's going to be hard to do. I think Jovic is an excellent three-point shooter and off the catch, but 40% in your first game action, really, for a full year is very, very good. So I'm not going to go out there and say if we want his numbers to bump up, that his three-point percentage will bump up. But if he could keep it at 38 to 40%, then I'm absolutely going to be happy with that. But I'd like to see him take more shots. I'd like to see him be more aggressive on the glass, whether it be offensively or defensively. Like, help Bam out inside. Get on that glass. Average about 7 rebounds. Get those points per game up to 10, 11. Like, if Jovic in year 3 averaged double-digit points, whether just barely being 10 or being 11, doesn't matter. But he gets to that double-digit mark, 7 boards, 4 assists, which I think is very possible due to his ability to handle the rock, get boards and run out in transition, but also make the high IQ play in the half-court offense and the flow of the free-flowing offense that Eric Spoelstra likes to run. I think these numbers are very attainable as long as Nikola Jovic is aggressive, and that's the #1 thing I want to see from him. Don't be someone just sitting in the corner waiting for Jimmy, Bam, or Tyler to kick you the ball for a 3-point shot. No. Demand the ball, get to the rack, get to the free throw line, and create for others. That's what I'm challenging for Nikola Jovic for this upcoming season. And it's evident that the Miami Heat also need him, by the way, because when you think about who the Heat have paired up with Bam Adebayo in the front court, there's been a lot of people. Bam, someone who is an undersized center himself, only at 6'9", 6'10", would benefit from a taller 4 like Jovic, who's 6'10", 6'11". And when those two shared the court together, they had a really good rating. They played in 38 games together, 662 minutes in totality, and they produced an offensive rating was 115.6, which is very, very good. But the more impressive thing between the two is the defensive rating of 106.9, which netted the Heat an 8.7 rating. And I think the defensive rating is something that we need to address more in terms of Jovic and Bam as a duo, because we can sit here and objectively say, in an isolation setting, in a vacuum, Nikola Jovic is not the best defender, and it's something that he needs to improve on in order to play late in games and improve that 19.6 minutes per game outing to 24, 25 minutes per game and be in some closing lineups for the Heat. But giving Bam another person with actual size And allowing Bam to be able to move more free-flowingly on the defensive end and be a wrecker in the switch scheme that Spoelstra likes to employ, because you can trust Jovic to battle down low with some of the opposing centers and fours, and you don't have to have Bam worried about the paint and him camping in there, but allow him to get on the outside and roam and create havoc. That's why I think this defensive pairing works so well. So if Jovic actually is able to continue to improve on the defensive end, hold his own, and be an average defender rather than a little bit of a below average guy, well, his defensive duo could be something really, really special. And obviously the offensive thing is already something that works very well, as the two can space and work off of each other inside and out. The third-year leap that Nikola Jovic could provide the Miami Heat is absolutely game-changing. And with the way the Heat have really constructed this roster, not making a splash trade, adding a third star to Jimmy and Bam, they're really banking on a massive improvement and leap from their young guys. And a Jovic leap to an all-star caliber player, a Jaime Jaquez Jr. leap to an all-star caliber player, or someone at least in Derek White's realm, right? And I'm not going to come out here to say that's going to happen. I'm not going to say that at all. But if they can at least get close to that high level role player kind of situation, well, that benefits Miami's roster construction quite a bit. And I think Jovic has a really good chance to do it because he can play make, he can rebound, and he can shoot, and he can score inside as well. And I still believe that he should be the starting four alongside Bam Adebayo. I know a lot of people out there are quick to put the 15th overall pick from June, Kel'el Ware, in that starting lineup and move Bam to the four because they feel like that's Adebayo's natural position. If that's the case, that's the case. But I believe that Ware needs to be adjusted to the NBA style of life, NBA physicality, playing on a nightly basis, the travel, because you don't get that at the collegiate level. And I think Ware is going to have to take some time to adjust to that. Year two for Kel'el Ware, maybe that's a different story. But at least this upcoming season, I believe that starting front court for Miami should still be a Jovic-Bam duo, with obviously Jimmy Butler starting at the three. All right, that's going to do it for today's show of the Heat Report by Chat Sports. Glad everyone could hang out with us. And if you are watching still to this point, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you like what we're doing, which seems like you obviously do because you're here for this full video, make sure you hit that sub button. Shout out to all the real ones, though, watching towards the end of the video.